Hello, everyone, and welcome to Advocates and Allies 2024. Thank you. I'm excited too. We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Kieran Robertson. I use he, they pronouns, and I am the Data and Grant Manager at Equality Ohio. Thank you. I am also a proud trans man, a proud Ohioan, and I am your MC for the evening. I'm glad that you're excited to spend some time with me. As my colleagues know, I also went to school for history, so I'd like to open tonight by reflecting upon the history of the place where we have gathered. In the early 1900s, the community of Franklinton was often beset by dangerous floods. The Levee Event Center, where we are sitting tonight, is named for the levees that sheltered residents of the community during a storm. It is not lost on me that as we face our own flood of anti-LGBTQ hate, we meet together in a place named for an object whose sole purpose is to protect. When I learned this history, my first inclination was to open our time together by focusing on the flood we are fighting and the levees that we build around our community. By giving more space than I should to the large and looming opposing forces, pouring their resources and dollars into their quest to make Ohio inhospitable for queer people. But what if we could dream of a world outside of the floodplain? In 1913, floodwaters again came to Franklinton, but this time the levee broke. But rather than let the floodwaters define their lives, the residents built something new. A post-flood migration out of the Franklinton floodplain built what we know today as Hilltop and the Near East Side. The disastrous flood birthed two of the city's most important and historic neighborhoods, defined not by what had been, but what was yet to come. We must not define our movement by the hate we fight against, but the joy, peace, friendship, love, and community that will define the world that comes after. I look out across this room and I see your resilience. But who are we when we have a minute to set that resilience aside? I have no doubt that tomorrow, every person in this room will ask, how am I doing the work? But tonight, let us put down our fight, come together in the beauty of community, and gift ourselves the joy, peace, and celebration that we so deserve. Let us dream of the day that the levees have crumbled and no one can remember why we even built them in the first place. I now have the honor of introducing two incredible advocates in our movement for lived and legal equality, our Equality Ohio board chairs, Eileen Galvin and Lynn Reedy.
All right, I have to make this a little taller for me. Pardon me just one moment. So hello, and welcome to the levee for this year's Advocates and Allies celebration. My name is Eileen Galvin. I use she, her pronouns, and I have the distinct privilege of serving as Equality Ohio's chair of the C4 board. Tonight, we celebrate the work of distinctive individuals and organizations who are making Ohio a better and safer place to live for LGBTQ plus Ohioans. So please, enjoy some food, some drinks, and I want to challenge you tonight to talk to somebody tonight you've never met before, hear their story, and make a new connection. Around this room, we have experts, mentors, activists, artists, and chosen family. And there are so many connections here just waiting to happen.
She'll be back. She'll be back. And my name is Lynn Reedy. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the chair of Equality Ohio's C3 board. And I'm here tonight with my wife, Sandy Anderson. If you are lucky enough to have lived as long as we have, you well know how extraordinary it feels to be able to say that. But before lived equality is truly achieved, there is much more work to do. As anybody watching political TV ads today can see, there is a toxic assault against the trans population of our state. These assaults, to me, are painful and powerful, and frankly effective. So effective that they're bringing out the very worst in many people. And not just our next door neighbors whose votes we are going to cancel in the next couple of weeks, but all kinds of people, without thinking more, without looking to medicine and science, often without knowing a single trans person. People are registering their judgments. This must end to fulfill our vision of a just and inclusive Ohio. Tonight, We're asking you to join in this effort in every way you can. Let's begin by thanking folks that already have. First and foremost, the staff of Equality Ohio. Hands, please. For organizing this event and all the work you do every day. Next, our host committee members. Hands, please. Host committees. Thank you all so much. And now our corporate sponsors are including our presenting sponsor, Eaton Corporation, a sponsor since 2020, our champion sponsors, AIDS Healthcare Foundation, Cleveland State University School of Law, our partner sponsors, Cardinal Health, CHW Advisors, Nationwide Insurance, our cultivator sponsors, HRC, Scioto Downs and Caesars Foundation, Thompson Hine, the Wine Group Cupcake Vineyard, and our sustaining sponsors, Cuyahoga Community College. And finally, our defending sponsors, Joy Song Photography, who also happens to be our photographer this evening. Give a wave. Get your picture taken. Get your picture taken. And a big thank you to everyone who has supported this work through one-time or reoccurring donations or just by being present. Every effort is so important. Thank you. Eileen?
Thank you, Lynn. Yes, thank you again for amazing sponsors without whom this work truly would not be possible. And now I want to take a couple minutes, not too many, I promise, moments, not minutes, to share a personal story. When I was a sophomore in Hilliard back in 2004 in high school, I had some big questions. Questions like, who am I? How am I supposed to transition and become the person I want to be? What is my place in the world? When Ohio passed a constitutional amendment banning same-sex marriage and civil unions, it was a defining moment for me. I learned a powerful lesson that the systems and structures we have to navigate and that were not built for us will not change unless we do something about it. We have to build the world we want to live in, the world in which we are free. That moment also led to the creation of Equality Ohio, when our founders stood up and said, we will be part of the process. We will advocate for ourselves, and we will be free. Marriage equality was a landmark win for Ohio and the nation in 2015, but as Lynn pointed out, the work is not over, and extremism in our legislature and school boards has led to a new threat. And for the last 3 years, trans and non-binary youth have been under constant attacks, which have banned their participation in school sports and access to health care, and impacted their sense of belonging, health, and well-being. That's some heavy stuff. And yet tonight, we are here to celebrate. We celebrate the sheer strength of our trans youth. We celebrate those who work tirelessly to strengthen and protect our community. We celebrate the promise of a better tomorrow that we are building together right now. And it's in that spirit, especially as we approach the 20th year of Equality Ohio, that we, the Board of Equality Ohio, are so thrilled to welcome our new Executive Director, Dwayne Stewart.
Okay, hey, let's calm down. I don't want to cry this early. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Eileen and Lynn, for that amazing introduction. And just to Eileen, Lynn, and the board for all of your support as I've been entering into this role. I just have really appreciated it. You all have been just truly gracious, truly supportive. So thank you so much. I also want to take a minute, and my husband and my son are here tonight, and I just want to say thank you for being here. You are my rock, you are my why, and I couldn't do this without you, so thank you. Okay, I'm not gonna cry. So, you know, for many of us, this has been a challenging year. We've mentioned and heard already about the transgender healthcare ban that was written into law. It was a devastating moment. And, you know, but it's why it's so important to us that we have these moments like tonight, to be in community with each other. You know, tonight is really about taking back space, You know, we're in this wild political moment. Let's take a moment to pause. Bayard Rustin once said, let us be enraged about injustice, but let us not be destroyed by it. So we're going to take a minute. We're going to take some advice from our ancestors, and tonight we're going to choose joy. You know, the amazing team at Equality Ohio has been doing this work on the front lines for many years, but especially this past year, the team worked really hard to mobilize around HB 68 and just getting us through that rough time. But it was also the work of this agency, alongside many others, that has kept so many other harmful bills from being codified into law. And many of those amazing staff are here tonight. We just applauded them, but can we please give the Equality Ohio staff another round of applause? So since this is my first time on this stage, I want to take a moment just to offer an introduction. So I am Dwayne Stewart. I use he, him pronouns. And I am the first Black queer person to hold the permanent seat as executive director of Equality Ohio. But I am so much more than that. I'm an activist, I'm a writer, I'm a speaker, I'm a husband, a proud father, I'm the son of a preacher, I'm a brother, I'm an uncle, I'm a mentor. I'm an Ohioan, born and bred. I'm a voter, and I'm also a proud Black queer man. I believe, like Maya said, I am the dream of the slave. And I stand here on the shoulders of so many who've paved the way to make this moment possible. I'm just really so excited to be here tonight, not just to talk about me, but also to talk about the amazing work of our staff and the past year that we've had, and then also the work ahead. There's so much work that we need to do. And really, despite the consistent opposition from the State House, I believe that we have an opportunity to be creative, that we can get back to our roots, and we can be poised to move from defense into offense as a movement. And some of the examples of how Equality Ohio has been doing that in this past year are plentiful. I just want to go through just a couple things the amazing team has accomplished. Our field team specifically, we coordinated a volunteer text-making event and sent out nearly 20,000 texts to voters to get them out to the polls. Our legal team, our amazing legal clinic, has engaged with over 450 people in 2024 just to date. In one of those cases, they reunited a transgender mother with her child. Development, our amazing team, Mary and Karen, you know, our reoccurring donor society, the Defenders of Equality, many of you are aware of that, but you may not know, it grew from 50 to 280 people in just 2 years. That's a 450% growth. Our amazing communications team, they reached nearly 2 million people through our views of our content and nearly 56,000 followers on our social media. Many of that due to a lot of the work on HB 68. Our amazing policy team really fought for our values this past year and spent countless hours at the State House, especially back in December. You all remember. They provided immediate education, webinars, and resources for our community to make sure that folks weren't going to lose the amazing services or knew what this new law meant for their lives. You know, I'm really extremely excited to be taking this role in this moment because I truly believe we're working on the civil rights issue of our time. And it might not feel like it every day, but the public is on our side in these issues. The Public Religion Research Institute surveys Americans in every state. And in their most recent survey, 76% of Ohioans favored an LGBTQ+ non-discrimination law. That's 3 out of 4. That's the same as the national average. We see this support in a very real way in our ongoing municipal work, where we currently are up to 35 local jurisdictions in 1 county that now bans discrimination against LGBTQ people. And we have a majority, 58% of Ohioans oppose religious-based right to discriminate bills that attack our community. So that's the good news. The bad news is we have a legislator in Ohio protected by years of gerrymandering that does not reflect the will of the people. We lost on HB 68. It was a devastating attack on the rights of trans youth and their families. More attacks are coming in our lame duck session ahead. I want to take a moment and just speak to our trans community. We are just so proud of everyone who stood up, trans parents, trans families, all the doctors and the amazing medical staff that spoke. You know, there were students, trans students in high school, they were doing their homework in hallways, waiting to testify late into the evening. I want to make a promise that Equality Ohio, we will continue this fight. And one of the ways that we fight is to hold people accountable. In the legislative scorecard that was just released today, if you haven't seen it, go online, go to Equality Ohio, check it out. It's launched today. Our amazing policies team, communications team did a fabulous job. There were a lot of Fs this year. I think we all know why. But finally, we have a chance this year to change things with Issue 1 on the ballot. Issue 1 would take redistricting out of the hands of career politicians and put it into a nonpartisan citizens commission. The public is on our side here too. A recent poll showed 60% support for this ballot measure. So I have two asks for you tonight. First, make sure your families and friends and neighbors know about Issue 1. You hear it every cycle. This is the most important election of our time. But with redistricting on the ballot, with our Supreme Court in the balance, I believe that this is true for Ohio this year as well. The polling shows support. But what you need to know is that ballot measures almost always underperform the public polling. We need to fight for this measure, for ballot one, or for Issue 1, as if we are behind. So my ask, talk to your friends and neighbors about Issue 1. I'm personally volunteering to get out the vote, and I hope you will too. When Wisconsin passed a similar redistricting measure, their assembly became a toss-up after years of gerrymandering. Could you imagine if we didn't always have to be on defense in Ohio? What would that look like? Let's dream of that world. Let's make that world happen together. So I want to end today and speak to you as a parent. So I dream of a day when my son can live in Ohio where the government focuses on working with transgender communities instead of actively working against them. I hope for my son and for every child that they can live in a time when the idea of attacking someone for who they love is a barbaric notion of a far-off yesteryear. I hope every child can come of age in a world where seeing LGBTQ representation in the media is just as American as apple pie. But to make that dream a reality, the reason we're all here tonight, we need your money. So our goal this year is to raise $175,000. We are about $45,000 away from that goal. So please, please, please do what you can. Give often, give early, as they like to say. There are so many ways that you can give tonight. There's the cards on your table. You're going to hear this again later, but I want to make sure that I also say it. The cards on your table, there's a QR code on the back of some of the table tents. There's even what they're calling a dipstick. I am not technology savvy, so you'll have to ask my staff how that works. But if you do so, you donate $10 or $20 right away. You don't have to do anything. Just put your card in the thing over there, and you can give some money right away. So to make sure you do that before you leave. And even if redistricting passes, it's going to take some time for us to get to that world we want to live in. And we know that the legislature can spring anti-equality bills on us at any moment. We've seen it. We've experienced it. We need the resources to quickly mobilize so that we can fight back. So thank you all for being here. Please, let's celebrate. Let's have a good time. And I'm just so excited to be your new executive director. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much to Dwayne. I think I speak for everyone at Equality Ohio when I say that we are absolutely thrilled to welcome Dwayne as our new executive director. His wisdom, passion, and kindness are already leading us to new heights as an organization. Speaking of things we're excited about, it is now time to move on to our awards presentation. You may have noticed that we've restructured our awards this year to better reflect Equality Ohio's commitment to centering the contributions of LGBTQ+ Ohioans. So even if you've been to this event many times before, there's something new in store. First, I will be welcoming our statewide policy team to the stage to present our State House Advocate Award. This award recognizes an individual who is a dedicated advocate who has made substantial contributions to LGBTQ rights at the state level, demonstrating leadership, intersectionality, and unwavering commitment to EO's mission. Take it away, policy.
Hello, everyone. My name is Morgan Zickus. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a policy manager.
My name is Cam Ogden. I also use she, her pronouns, and I am also on Equality Ohio's policy team.
So the State House Advocate Award this year will honor Dara Atkinson. Dara has been a relentless voice at the State House in an amazing way, ceaselessly advocating for policies that support and uplift LGBTQ individuals and fighting back fiercely against the ones that do not. In my first week with Equality Ohio back in April, we were attending a hearing for an anti-LGBTQ bill. Dara was there and delivered a testimony on behalf of themselves and Trans Ohio that was so genuine and compelling, and they have only continued to be someone that I'm honored to work with and look up to in the community immensely.
I've been going to the State House for long enough that I have plenty of badass stories about Dara that I could tell. But while I'm up here in front of this microphone, I just want to say that our community is in need of heroes now more than ever, and Dara, from the bottom of my heart, you are one of them. So please, everyone, join me in celebrating Dara Atkinson.
Oh, thank you. Oh, this is a large, heavy object. Thank you. I'm going to lay it down like this. Yeah. Logistics, yes. Thank you so much, Cam and Morgan. So I'm Dara Atkinson, and I am very awkward. So I'm the executive director of Trans Ohio. And I'm very honored to be this year's State House Advocate. I guess the first State House Advocate since we restructured the awards. It's really weird for me to be recognized for the work that I do, partially because I was doing it as a volunteer for more than a decade, but also just because I don't think it's work that should need to be done in like a just and equitable society. But that doesn't mean that it's not without recognition, but just, things to think about. But I just would like to imagine a legislature that is focused on helping people instead of trying to make lives more difficult for trans people and for trans children across the state. It's a wild concept, I know, but let's start with that as like a simple baseline. I was trying to figure out how many times I testified in the past year when I found out about this, and I'm pretty sure it was 11, not taking into account a plethora of press conferences and interviews and any number of things.
In other words, been at the State House so much that some people are like, oh, I recognize you from the back of courtrooms. I'm like, yes, that is me apparently now. But sometimes I try to think about how I ended up here. And there's a story from when I was a kid that kind of makes it all make sense to me. When I was a fourth grader, my recess was vastly unjust by my opinion. You had to line up and be silent and still for a few minutes before everyone could go play. So I wrote the governor. And with that letter from the governor, I got the principal to change the policy. Some people are pre-programmed to see injustice, and if you're not, challenge you to find it, because there's a lot of it happening in Ohio. Yes, we've got a ton of allies, so many awesome allies in this room right now, but look for that extra injustice no matter what its level is and seek it out and do something, because there is nothing too small to give people agency, and we all deserve to have some agency. But the way I testify at the State House has changed a lot over time. I've been testifying for years at this point, and there's so much less agency for trans and gender expansive folks because our ability to persuade people has changed. So many more legislatures are ideologues at this point. And I know that there are many people in this room who have testified at the State House or lobbied at the State House and been told to their faces just how despicable legislatures truly think them to be. But I still show up, and I try to explain to legislatures that they cannot erase us. And I also promote what Trans Ohio has to offer, our mutual aid, our legal services, our plethora of resources, and the community that comes from that lived experience and that shared announcement of identity. I know that there is danger in visibility, but there is also innate power in visibility and showing those possibility models that I did not have as a kid. Like growing up, like being a non-binary, genderqueer, transmasc person, that was not like an option in the 90s. Like it was, but it wasn't something you could find easily. And so it's really an honor to get to be that possibility model that other people can see now as an option. And I'm just really thankful to get to be a part of the change that Trans Ohio is, and thankful for James for helping me find a home that my younger self did not know was possible, and the advocacy that Trans Ohio provides. I'm really thankful for my amazing wife, Shauna, who is always proofreading and working over any number of phrasings that I have for way too many speeches and testimonies and quotes and everything throughout the year. And I just want everyone here to strive to not be silent in the face of any kind of bigotry or hatred that you see towards LGBTQIA+ people in your lives, to never sit idly by while those around you are in need, and to make sure your own cups are full, because we can't help other people in our community if we're not looking out for ourselves too. And be someone your childhood self would be proud of, whatever amazing queer or allied version that may be, because I know I am. And thank you all.
Thank you so much, Dara, for your amazing dedication to Trans Ohioans. As you all may have noticed, our community was very excited to recognize our honorees this year. So each honoree will be receiving a certificate from Franklin County Auditor Michael Stinziano, as well as a commendation from Minority Leader Nikki J. Antonio, the first openly LGBTQ+ individual to serve in the Ohio General Assembly. Next, I would like to welcome our Executive Director, Dwayne Stewart, back to the stage to present our Local Champion Award. The Local Champion Award honors a local leader or organization who has made a profound impact within their community, fostering relationships, advocating for inclusivity, and inspiring others through their grassroots efforts.
All righty. Hope you're not sick of hearing me just yet. So I'm actually very excited to be able to give out this award. I know this person very closely. So the Local Champion Award this year goes to Brian Jones. And Mr. Jones has been thriving with AIDS for over 42 years and has been an advocate activist for half of that time. He is a founding steering committee member of the International Undetectable Equals Untransmittable campaign, U equals U. For over 10 years, he has been a voting member of the Cleveland Planning Council. He advocates and presents both nationally and internationally. Mr. Jones was very instrumental in the forming of the Ohio Health Modernization Movement that Equality Ohio is also a part of, whose mission is to modernize the HIV non-disclosure laws in Ohio. And he is responsible for initiating and mobilizing the mobilization, of Ohio around these laws. Mr. Jones is also the founder of DIRT, D-I-R-T, the advocacy movement, which is a prevention model, and he is the founder of the Sankofa HIV initiative. This initiative provides healing weekends, webinars, and training for organizations, as well as for people living with HIV and AIDS. Brian is a proud Rattler and graduate of Florida A&M University with a BS in broadcast journalism. And like I mentioned, I've gotten the chance to work with Brian for a long time. Many of you who know me know that I got my start in this work in HIV/AIDS activism. Brian's always been someone who's I've had the pleasure of working with, and he's really paved the way for me in many ways. I'm really honored to bestow the 2024 Equality Ohio Champion Award. Brian could not be with us here tonight because he is in the hospital. We all, I think, all know that what he's been dealing with, but he has a family member who is here today to accept the award on his behalf. If you want to come up and do so. Oh, over here. Thank you.
All right. Next, we will bring members of the Equality Ohio Legal Clinic to the stage to present the Legal Advocate of the Year Award. The Legal Advocate of the Year Award recognizes an individual or group whose legal work has significantly advanced LGBTQ+ rights in Ohio, showing outstanding leadership, inclusivity, and a deep commitment to the cause of lived and legal equality in Ohio.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Justin Joseph. My pronouns are he, him, and I am a staff attorney with the Equality Ohio Legal Clinic. It is my honor to present the Legal Advocate of the Year Award to the ACLU of Ohio. The ACLU of Ohio has been instrumental in defending LGBTQ equality in Ohio through legal, educational, and legislative resources. They have worked to advance the Ohio Fairness Act to push for legislative non-discrimination protection, rallied Ohio businesses to the cause through Ohio Business Competes, and most notably, the ACLU of Ohio has shaped Ohio's legal landscape through their work on landmark cases and challenges to discriminatory legislation, such as the recent and continuing challenge to HB 68. Their dedication to civil liberties and justice have strengthened the fight for legal and lived equity for LGBTQ+ Ohioans. Please join us in welcoming the ACLU of Ohio.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Freda Levinson, she, her pronouns. I'm the legal director of the ACLU of Ohio, and it's my pleasure, very sincere honor and joy to accept this award on behalf of the ACLU of Ohio, not just the legal team who, clearly because the challenge to HB 68 is still taking the form of a lawsuit. It was spearheaded by lawyers, but it's the entirety of the ACLU of Ohio, the whole staff, all of the departments whose work is integral to this effort. And for all of our efforts. So I accept this on behalf of not just legal, comms, development, policy, tech, everyone. We all work together in harmony and cooperation out of necessity to do this work. I wish I could give you a satisfying update about HB 68. We are in a holding pattern right now. As you know, we lost in the trial court, not because we were wrong on the law or on the facts. In my judgment, we were entirely correct, and the bill should be stricken as unconstitutional. It absolutely should be. But the judge decided from his ideological perspective, really not from a legal perspective or on the basis of factual determinations, that the law should be upheld. So we appealed immediately. The appellate court was very interested in expediting the case. It put it on a very fast schedule, which was exciting. They required briefing very quickly. Oral argument was heard very quickly. The case is fully briefed and argued, and it's ready for decision. It's been ready for decision, though, for 7 weeks. So for a court that has been in a hurry, it's somewhat inexplicable to us that we don't have a ruling yet. We keep refreshing our computers and phones because we'll get the decision via email, and no word yet. I silenced my phone while I was sitting at the table, but so maybe in the last few minutes, but I don't think that there's an update. We did get a very good reception before the appellate court. They were engaged, they heard the arguments, they understood them, and I personally don't like to predict, I don't want to jinx anything, but I am cautiously optimistic that we will prevail in overturning the trial court's decision, at least on 1 or 2 grounds, and it only takes 1. So I think we have a good chance of winning in the appellate court, but this is the intermediate appellate court, so win or lose, the case will not end here. If we win, the state will certainly appeal to the Ohio Supreme Court. If we lose, we will certainly appeal to the Ohio Supreme Court. So that's where the case will ultimately be decided. It won't go on to the US Supreme Court. The Ohio Supreme Court will be the deciders of whether we have to live under HB 68 or not. So this upcoming election is very important. The composition of the court is critical, and I encourage you, I don't need to encourage you, to vote in that election. Without co-opting the agenda, I do want to also share some very exciting news. Just 3 or 4 hours ago, we won an historic victory. The 6-week ban has been stricken in Ohio. This is a great moment for bodily autonomy in Ohio. The ban has been permanently enjoined, and this is the first permanent injunction won across the entire country following a constitutional amendment. So this is historic in so many ways. And it just goes to show the power that people have when they join together in solidarity and work to accomplish something in the law by initiative. Popular initiative is extremely powerful. And we have that in this upcoming election as well, another opportunity there. So the Reproductive Freedom Amendment is fulfilling its promise, absolutely, as voters expected, and it's so validating. And there's several other lawsuits on our docket before courts now. We already have preliminary injunctions in several of those, so this powerful amendment is honestly actualized to a tremendous degree. So we're very hopeful for the future, at least in this regard. I want to thank you again for all you do. Equality Ohio, you're such a dear, inspirational, important partner that we just regard with so much affection and solidarity. So it's just a huge, huge value and joy to be receiving this award. Thank you so much.
Alrighty. Thank you to everyone at the ACLU of Ohio for all that you do for our community. Alrighty. Next up, we will welcome MD Seitz, our communications manager and a very key player in making sure that this event happened this evening, to the stage. MD will be presenting the Ally of the Year Award. This award celebrates a non-LGBTQ+ individual or organization that has shown exceptional support, advocacy, and solidarity with LGBTQ+ Ohioans, embodying the spirit of active allyship.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to see all of your faces here tonight. Again, my name is MD Seitz. My pronouns are they, them, and sometimes she. And I'm the communications manager at Equality Ohio. I'm actually, if you see a typo on any of the slides, it's probably my fault, so you can just let me know. I am so proud to introduce Julie Posey, our 2024 Ally of the Year. Yeah, very excited. Julie has a 28-year career in education, and she has shaped countless minds at Columbus State Community College and Columbus College of Art and Design. Holding a master's degree in pharmacology, she's an associate professor of human anatomy and physiology and a DEI faculty fellow at Columbus State. How does she have the time? I don't know. Her allyship goes far beyond the classroom. Julie founded a transgender and non-binary support group called Cougar Closet. It's gonna make me want to cry. It's a free shopping experience for trans individuals. And she also, at the same time, was organizing panels and drag shows to foster understanding about LGBTQ+ Ohioans to the wider community. She's a published co-author and an award-winning educator. And perhaps dearest to my heart, because my twins are in the room tonight, as a fellow parent, Julie's greatest inspiration comes from being a proud mom. Please join us in celebrating Julie Posey. Come on up here, girl. Come up here, girl.
Oh, yeah. Just my citations. God, this thing moves. I don't know why I'm nervous. I talk for a living. Hi, my name is Julie Posey. I do work at Columbus State. I'm an associate professor, which has been the best job I've ever had, of course. It's one of the only jobs I've ever had. But one of the best things that happened was I became a DEI faculty fellow. And because of that, I was able to do work that means so much to me. And I'm so honored to be given this award, and I know I've been given this award by my colleagues who have nominated me. But you know, I'm gonna do this work whether I'm a faculty fellow or whether I get awards, because it needs done. And I have a hard time keeping my mouth shut, so it's good that I have found a path for me. But I want to tell you a little bit like why I fight. I have a transgender daughter, and I will also try not to cry. But she's amazing. Ivy is 21, and she is thriving at Ohio University. Go Bobcats. She came out when she was 15, and she had the patience with me, with us, as I navigated her new world. I made a lot of missteps. I tried to turn her into me. I thought I knew better, but she helped me to understand that this journey was hers, and my job is to support her, fight for her rights, be in her corner always, and love her as she walks her own path. But then she's happy and living at Ohio University, and so I needed to fight for some more people. So what about everybody else who didn't have my opportunity to be so close and to learn about this? What about everybody else who doesn't have her support? How can I help? So every initiative that I've been able to achieve at Columbus State, it is all about Ivy. Everything's about Ivy. Do we have at Columbus State gender affirmation care that Ivy had? No, we didn't, so we fixed that. We do now. Do we have access to gender-neutral bathrooms in every single building like Ivy had at OU? We're fixing that. Do students who want to explore new gender identities and have access and money to reinvent their entire wardrobe like Ivy did 3 times? We fixed that too. Okay. Cougar Closet was amazingly successful, and we're going to be doing it again and again and again. I'm so lucky. My department went through Ivy's transition with me. They became allies the moment that I did. They support every initiative. Every time I get in trouble, they're right there listening to me. I have started a new transgender and non-binary support group. We've had panel discussions on perspectives about being transgender and non-binary. We've given away thousands and thousands of pieces of clothing. We've had a drag show that we literally had to drag the administration through. We've had days of visibility. But I am so lucky that Columbus State lets me do this, and they let me be people's moms who need it. So, thanks.
Thank you, Julie, for your inspiring allyship and for making me tear up a little bit in the corner. All right. Next, I will welcome our local field organizers to the stage to present the award for Organization of the Year. The Organization of the Year award honors an Ohio-based organization, grassroots or nonprofit, demonstrating exemplary relationship building, intersectional advocacy, and alignment with Equality Ohio's mission, making a tangible impact on the LGBTQ+ community in Ohio.
Good evening. My name is Joseph Souza. I use he, him pronouns.
And I am Madeline Smith, and I use she, her pronouns.
And we serve as community organizers with Equality Ohio's field team, and we're deeply honored to introduce this year's Organization of the Year award. As Kieran mentioned, the intention behind this award is to celebrate an organization that exemplifies the power of grassroots advocacy, community building, and an unwavering dedication to justice. And we couldn't be more thrilled to present it to Trans Ohio.
We do have some more. We do have some more to say, but yes.
Come stand with us. We're making you come up.
Congratulations again. I don't want to hold this.
Okay. Now we're holding it.
They're holding it now. We'll wrap up quickly from our perspective. I can't speak for them. As the Midwest's first and only statewide trans-led organization, Trans Ohio works tirelessly to protect and advance the rights of trans, non-binary, intersex, and gender non-conforming folks across the state for almost 20 years. They are led by a small, primarily volunteer team of trans folks who dedicate their time, energy, and love to this important work, which, as we all know, becomes more challenging every year as the Ohio legislature continues to escalate its assault on trans autonomy and the rights of trans people to thrive in public life with dignity. In the midst of a particularly heartbreaking year, Trans Ohio's impact has been essential. They have facilitated programming that offers learning and community building opportunities, and they have supported more than 800 Ohioans with their emergency fund and other direct services. Yeah, absolutely. As comrades in this work, we can proudly say that Trans Ohio is a pillar in our ecosystem and advocates that are making queer and trans liberation happen.
All right, thank you, Madeline and Joseph. Yeah, I'm back, now with James. Trans Ohio, like Equality Ohio, is going into our 20th year. We're very honored to be awarded Organization of the Year. We've definitely accomplished a lot both this year and all of the years prior. As you may recall from a few minutes ago, I'm Dara Adkison, they, them. I'm our executive director, our first paid executive director as of 4 months ago. Standing beside me is James Knapp, who is amazing and hates recognition, so do not, ignore him. But also, he's been our board chair for over 10 years and has helped us accomplish insurmountable amounts of things for the trans community in Ohio. Trans people, as we've talked about through many of the speeches tonight, have been demonized relentlessly in this past year. And unfortunately, one of the places that have had the most cruel attacks is here in Ohio. We've had fear-mongering of our existence, the result of what people will call a pernicious gender ideology. But it's not an ideology or a concept. We're just people. People trying to lead our lives just like everyone else in the world. And that is where Trans Ohio comes in. We help support trans people across the state and show that our community is not only strong and resilient, but kind, caring, and great at looking out for each other. Trans Ohio is a testament to the importance of volunteering and community and what stepping in and stepping up can actually end up looking like. So what has made Trans Ohio Organization of the Year? Let's look at some quick numbers. There's 300 plus name changes that we've helped through the Ohio Name Change Legal Clinic that we have. 100 plus of them are scholarships awarded for legal filing fees just this year. Over 800 since starting the program in 2016. 1,200 plus people who are Ohioans, transgender, expansive, experiencing healthcare, housing, and food insecurity that we've helped through our emergency mutual aid fund. That was a crisis response to HB 68. 37 prides attended this summer, letting communities throughout Ohio know about the resources available to help them. 600 plus physical copies of our Trans Joy zine circulated, giving trans people an opportunity to share their experiences and connecting us back to our roots as a flyer from 2005. 250 plus people who attended our 15th annual Trans Ohio Symposium, successfully held in Dayton for the first time. 83 State House calls to action, inciting the public to feel and speak their own voice and teaching them how to testify, and of course, lots of our own personal testimonies. These aren't even everything that Trans Ohio has accomplished in the last year, let alone the last nearly 20, but it is a step in the bucket of why we are the organization of this year, at least what I was thinking when I was trying to figure out why. At the end of the day, Trans Ohio is extremely excited and to be part of the fabric of queer Ohio as a whole. And we have existed and supported and aided in our community for so long. We see so many targets against us now, and we will continue to exist past when those targets have long since passed. We are so grateful to everyone who has volunteered with us both this year and every year prior, and every year in the future. There's lots of potential volunteers in here, perhaps. As the only paid member, we need more volunteers, seriously. But I'm very thankful for our board, for our volunteers, for our community, for all of our partners like Equality Ohio and so many other great, trans-led organizations in the state as well. And just what makes our organization impactful and monumental for the trans and gender expansive community of Ohio. Trans people are part of the fabric of our society in Ohio, now and forever. And to every trans person, both in this room and in Ohio, everyone who knows a trans person, loves or respects a trans person, we are in this together, we are not alone, and we're not going anywhere. And thank you.
Thank you again to Trans Ohio for showing up every day for trans Ohioans. Your work is truly incredible. All right. Thanks. All right. I will actually be presenting our next award, the Queer Joy Award. But before I launch into that, I just wanted to take a moment to reflect on something that Dara said earlier when they were accepting their first award of the evening. That is that when I was a kid, I did not know that I could be trans. I did not know trans people existed. I did not know a trans person. But I stand here today in my beautiful trans body on a stage where the majority of the people that will take the microphone this evening are other transgender and non-binary individuals. So thank you for taking a moment to celebrate that with me. Now on to the Queer Joy Award. So the Queer Joy Award celebrates an individual or group whose work and presence embodies the spirit of queer joy, creating inclusive, uplifting spaces that bring happiness and hope to the LGBTQ+ community in Ohio. And without further ado, this year's Queer Joy Award honors Bryden Shuren, an award-winning published queer trans artist, activist, and business owner. Bryden radiates queer joy, using art and advocacy to celebrate the LGBTQ+ community and creating opportunities for LGBTQ+ people to feel the joy that comes from making art. They have supported organizations like Trans Lifeline, the Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation, and the You Will Rise program, while also co-creating Queertopia, an art experience celebrating queer joy through paintings, workshops, and the Redrawing Masculinity class. Among their many accomplishments, Bryden also started Columbus's first Trans Pride March and has advocated for trans visibility at the Ohio State House. Bryden's queer joy is infectious as they build the inclusive spaces that we need to support in Ohio, where everyone is welcome, affirmed, and flourishing. And before we bring Bryden to the stage, I'd also like to mention that they so kindly have offered a piece of their art up for auction tonight in the back of the room, so please do check that out if you have not yet. All that said, please join me in celebrating Bryden Shuren.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Hi, everybody. Bear with me as I've written some stuff down so I don't black out on stage in front of you all. Thank you, Equality Ohio, and everyone that nominated me. I am incredibly honored and truly humbled to receive the Queer Joy Award. Standing here today is a powerful reminder. That even when the world tries to erase us and more laws are put in place to strip us away from our rights as humans, our joy is an act of resistance and resilience. For me, this work has always been very personal. Growing up, the queer representation was kind of lacking. You would have the options of Jerry Springer's special Is It a Man, or you can fill in the blank, or terrifying stories like Boys Don't Cry or Southern Comfort. I went to the University of Dayton, and I was the only out trans student there, and I didn't have any support, and I was an easy target for hate. And then I had medical professionals invalidate me and tell me that this is all a phase and that I will never become a man. So that added on to it. My goal here is that isolation and that loneliness is something that I never want to see others feel. And I do this work that I I do this work that I do because I want to create a world where everyone feels supported and feels seen. And maybe I'm doing it a little bit to heal my own heart and traumas, just a little bit. And but I feel incredibly rewarding to be seen for the work that I do. But I want to emphasize that this is a community that helps me build these communities and creates these experiences. And I do this work out of the love and joy that I get from seeing other trans and queer individuals thrive and have hope for their future. You all are my joy. Between starting organizations, hosting redrawing masculinity classes, running marches, fundraisers, art shows, and more, sleep is kind of, I don't really know her. Apparently, being a professional volunteer as a career choice, I don't think my parents were really rooting for, but it was either that or an artist, so why not both? And in all seriousness, I want to dedicate this award to everyone who has felt out of place, that didn't feel like they belonged. Fuck. Sorry, oh no. My bad, beep. Your joy is valid, your presence is powerful, you are seen, you belong here, you are loved, you deserve love, and there's a place in this world for you. Yeah. Let's keep building spaces where every queer person feels celebrated for exactly who they are. Together, we can ensure that joy is not just an act of defiance, but it is a birthright. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And lastly, I just wanted to remind you that the polls are open. And, we need your votes to help protect the rights of our community and also give the younger generation hope for their future and make sure they don't disappear on us. If you want to collaborate, just let me know. Yeah.
All right, thank you to Bryden. I hope everybody is able to take home a little bit of that infectious queer joy this evening. I now have the honor to call to the stage members of Equality Ohio's Trans Plus Caucus. I myself am a proud member of this amazing group that has come together to support and advocate for trans voices within our organization. So if you'd like to come on up, caucus. You've heard my voice enough tonight, so I will now pass the mic to Sol, who will begin to share some of the thoughts that the caucus has prepared this evening.
Thanks, Karen. Hi, everybody. My name is Sol Kersey. My pronouns are they, them, theirs, and I am honored and humbled to speak as one member of our trans caucus here at Equality Ohio. Our caucus was born out of a need. We had a need to uplift and center trans experiences that was birthed out of the unionization process here at Equality Ohio. And this wasn't just externally within our community. We wanted to elevate these voices within the organization as it stands. So let's start by grounding ourselves in a reality. What is going on unnoticed around you? Have you personally ever met a trans person? No? Get to moving, get to talking to people. You have. It's 2024, we're here and we're a part of your world. Do you have a trans friend? If not, I want to invite you to reflect on why there hasn't been a trans person in your life who has felt safe enough to open up to you. And it's time to consider what kind of environment you fostered to create that reality.
The Trans Caucus, is made up of all of the people of trans experience and non-binary experience in Equality Ohio. And for all of us, it is such a unique privilege and honor to represent our community in the work that we do. Whether that has been in a courtroom fighting for just one person, or whether it's been at the State House fighting for our community all through Ohio, or whether it's been all of the different places in between those two theaters, we have been here and we walk into these rooms and we are, for many of us, visual reminders of our existence, of our resilience, and it is an endless honor, it is an endless privilege to do that work. But that hasn't come without a cost for the trans community, and specifically for members of this caucus. Members of this caucus, people on this stage, have endured quite a bit of unnecessary abuse in the time that we have spent advocating for our community. Many of us have been called slurs. Many of us have received threats because of the work that we do. Some of us have been followed home. Some of us have had to move because of threats that we've received, death threats. And it's hard to talk about those things because oftentimes all we want to talk about is the people we love and the people that we represent. But in front of this crowd, I feel safe enough, and with these people at my back, I feel safe enough to say that hostility against trans people is on the rise, both in our state and across the country. And this is a reflection of a world that far too often does not see us as we are, and instead sees us as targets.
So we know that the experiences that we're sharing about right now don't express the entirety of the trans experience. They're just a sliver of it. In moments like these, our voices are here to open the circle, to make room for others. We share our lived realities to shed light on the broader trans experience. Being in a dual role as advocates as well as members of the community brings unique tension. The issues that we work on day in and day out impact us deeply because they're our issues, our lives. We choose this tension because we believe in the power of bending the moral arc of the universe toward justice. Let us also acknowledge our privilege. As a caucus and as individuals, we have the privilege of forming and sustaining this unique space. We have the privilege to live openly, visibly, to speak truth to power. And not everyone has these choices available, so we want to recognize the weight of that reality.
So where do we go from here? It's time to say what often goes unspoken, especially in moments of fear and uncertainty. What do you do when you're alone, being harassed and cornered and said awful things about the very base of your humanity? What do you do when you finally find safety after you've been running down the block from a gang of folks chasing you? You need to actively ally transgender people. Bystander intervention is not a lofty goal at this point. It's the year 2024, and it is the societal bare minimum that we must express towards each other for care, most especially transgender individuals. We as a caucus want to ask you, what will you personally do at this pivotal moment in our nation's history, in Ohio's history? Are you going to commit to practicing active bystander intervention? Are you going to canvass for queer and queer-affirming candidates using our elected scorecards? Are you going to donate tonight to Equality Ohio so we can continue advocating for lived and legal equity in every corner of this state, no matter where you live? Thank you for your time, your attention, and for your support of Equality Ohio's life-saving work. We can and we will make a difference.
I would now like to invite to the stage two very special guests in our audience tonight. Donors and activists in the LGBTQ+ community, Tom Grody and Rick Neal. It is incredibly meaningful to have Tom in this room, as he is one of the founding members of Equality Ohio, which, in case no one's told you yet, will celebrate our 20th anniversary next year. Tom was also in the room at our Obergefell and Arthur Society dinner this year, where he made a commitment to match the donations of 10 new members to the ONA Society. This amazing commitment brought many new members into the fold to honor the legacy of Jim Obergefell and John Arthur and the works of people like Equality Ohio's founding members. without further ado, Tom and Ray.
Thank you, everybody. Kieran, thank you very much. It is incredible to be here tonight. I did just want to take a minute, and Dwayne might have already done this, but I did just want to thank, again, the terrific staff who've worked here at the venue tonight, the servers, and everybody who prepared the food. It's just awesome. So, as you can see in the picture, Tom and I have two girls who are now 15 and 12, which is hilarious. And this year in April for the Obergefell and Arthur Society dinner, only Tom could go because I was off busy at soccer or something, which was a bummer. And I came home, and he came home, all abuzz about the dinner and how great it was. The Obergefell and Arthur Society, it's a $2,500 a year commitment. And these folks have really stepped up to give to EO, to work, to build on the foundation that Tom and the other founders built 20 years ago. And it's always a great event. And Jim Obergefell himself comes, and it's terrific. So he came home, he was all excited, and he said, "And I did something." This happens often. But of course I was thrilled. When he explained that what we were doing together this summer was challenging EO to find 10 new members of the ONA Society and that we would match those contributions. And we made this because we really believe in the power of Equality Ohio to create positive change by lifting up and seeking justice for LGBTQ plus people across the state, and to continue to strive for that original vision of an Ohio where everyone feels at home. And I gotta tell you, when I met this guy in 2006 at a bar in DC, and I asked him, "So, what do you do?" And he's like, "Well, I started this LGBTQ advocacy organization in Ohio." I mean, my heart leapt in my body. I said, "Are you kidding me? Like, who is this guy?" And that vision in Ohio where everyone feels at home, how lucky I was to be asked to join him here and live here and work towards that. And we know that there is more, a lot more, that our community can do to help achieve that vision, and joining the Obergefell and Arthur Society, helps gets us there. I have to say though, let's face it, the work is so important right now because we do live in a very dark and dangerous time for the LGBTQ community. In just 2 weeks, we will know. We will know what our future holds. Is it a future where, with hope and joy, we can continue to fight towards justice? Or is it a future down a very dark path of greater discrimination, prejudice, and violence, with a government that will not hesitate, in fact has promised, to target us, and especially trans folks, to whip up the fear and the hate that sustain their political power? That's why, at such a time, Jim Obergefell and the memory of his late husband, John Arthur, are beacons of love and justice. Thank you, honey. Thank you. Tom's going to talk a little bit more about this society and all of his work.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you. I'll just be real quick. So 20 years ago, we were just days away from an election, just as we are today, where it was really a pivotal moment in Ohio's history. Fortunately, we've got a pivotal moment in the whole history of the country right now. But it was issue 1. Isn't that interesting? How many people remember issue 1? It was a constitutional amendment to make marriage between same-gendered couples illegal, even though it was already illegal. And it was used by the Bush administration to, by Karl Rove in particular, was his strategy, in several states across the country to win the election. And guess what? They won. They did it. And at the time, it was the first time that our neighbors, friends, and families voted on our lives. And it was devastating. And I was actually the state chair of the No on Issue 1 campaign. We helped raise about $1 million. We got HRC to put in $400,000. And frankly, folks, it was a lost cause. We lost 68 to 32. It was awful. And the day after the election, and I don't want to feel this way in a couple weeks, the day after the election, we felt like we got kicked in the stomach. And I know many of you felt that way with HB 68. Awful feeling, right? Terrible feeling. What I want to tell you today is that anger and that feeling, we channeled that. We channeled that into starting Equality Ohio. Equality Ohio exists today because of Issue 1 20 years ago, okay? Now we have, what, how many staff members? I can't even freaking believe this strong organization, and I'm so proud of the passion and commitment, particularly for our trans community, because we know and we see those damn commercials that make me sick. Those commercials make me sick to my stomach that all these Ohioans are watching these awful, terrible anti-trans commercials. It's unacceptable. 20 years ago, or about 19 years ago, there's a gentleman in the room. We organized at the King Avenue United Methodist Church. A group of activists from across the state joined together. It was like 100 people in the room. Bob, would you stand up? Bob was in the room. Bob was in the room. And Bob is one of the original organizing committee members of Equality. So let's hear it for Bob. Thank you, Bob. Thank you. And I was in that room, and several other people in that room, and we said, we deserve, and I mean we deserve better than this. And we are not going to sit down, and we are not going to take this. And we organized, and we came up with an Ohio where everyone feels. We wrote that together. We believe in an Ohio where everyone feels at home. Everyone. Damn it, we are not going to stop until everyone feels at home. Do you hear me? We are not going to stop until everyone feels at home. And so no matter what happens, in the election in a few days, we can do whatever we can, and we got to give it up because we don't know. No matter what happens, if it goes light or dark, this room of people are going to be together. We are going to fight, we are going to love each other, and we are going to help each other. And we are going to fight until we deserve it, folks. I deserve to be married to my husband. I deserve my family, my adopted children. I deserve that. Dwayne deserves his husband. Dwayne deserves his adopted son. We are not going to stop. And every trans person in this room, you deserve to walk safely in Ohio. You deserve to be loved and cared for. And we got your back, goddammit. We got your back. So, I made a little match. I'm going to do it again tonight. Anybody, and I mean at any level, fills out this card tonight, my husband and I will match it. Do you hear me? You put something down. I don't care, $5, $10, $20. You put it down. We will match it. And not only will we do that, I promise you, we are committed to the Obergefell Society. Jim Obergefell is from Ohio. We have marriage equality. When we started Equality Ohio, we didn't drink. 10 years later, we got marriage equality? Only a decade, we got marriage equality because of us, because of Jim Obergefell, because of Ohio. That went all the way to the Supreme Court. Do you realize how much power we have? We can do this. So we and everybody we know are going to support the Obergefell Society. We are going to get more members. We're going to raise more money, and we're going to support you, and we're going to do this, folks, no matter what happens in the election. So I want to give you hope. We are here. We are not going away. We are here. We are queer. We are not going away, all right? I'm doing this for my family, my husband, and my daughters, and my trans friends and families. So let's do this, all right? All right.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Well, that was exciting. Thank you so much, Tom and Rick. Please, let's give another round of applause. Yes. Lynn and where's Lynn? Where's Eileen? If you want to join me back up on stage, please, as we close things out. Oh, there you go. Yay. So thank you all. Can't top that. I know, right? So thank you again, Tom and Rick. I've gotten the pleasure to know these two amazing men personally. They've been mentors to me and my husband as we were adopting and trying to start our family. So you all have a special place in my heart, and I just really thank you for all of your support. We really appreciate it. So thank you. Yeah. So I think it was Bryden that mentioned we have some exciting things happening in like a week or two called an election. And so please make sure you all go vote. I do want to make sure that we honor the electeds for equality. I believe we have one of them in the room. Judge Bill Hedrick is here. Yes. Also want to honor and thank House Minority Leader Allison Russo, Franklin County Auditor Michael Stenziano, Representative Bryce Sweeney, and Representative Casey Weinstein. They've all been amazing supporters of Equality Ohio. Are there any other electeds in the room? I want to make sure that we don't leave anybody out. All right. Well, please make sure that you go to the polls. Make sure that our equality candidates keep getting to do the amazing work that they're doing. I also wanted to mention, make sure you go and do the silent auction. We're gonna, after we close, you get 5 minutes to go over there and bid. Keep raising money for this amazing organization, and then we're gonna come up here and announce the winner 5 minutes after we close. So please head over, rush over, and put in your bids. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. Just looking around the room, it just makes my heart swell. I've worked with so many of you for so long, and I've gotten the opportunity to just stand alongside you in this fight. And so that's why it just means so much to me that I get to do this job at this moment in my home state, and work alongside you all to get to a place where we all can have that lived and legal equality. And so thank you so much. Thank you again to the board, to Lynn and Eileen, and to the rest of the board for all of your support. And thank you all for being here tonight, and for continuing to support this amazing work. One of my favorite quotes is from Nelson Mandela, where he says, "Poverty is not an accident. Like apartheid and slavery, it is man-made and can be removed from the actions of human beings." I submit to you that transphobia, homophobia, inequity, health inequity, all these things are man-made. And it is because of our actions that we will be able to remove these things from society. You all tonight are committing an action. So I take that with you, continue to commit actions so that we can remove these terrible things from our society, so that we can have an amazing Ohio, like Rick and Tom said, that where all of us can call this home and be proud to call Ohio home. So thank you.
Give it up for Dwayne Stewart. I feel like I have to do that host thing at the end of the show. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for being here. Enjoy the evening. Do you love how we accidentally wore brand colors for Equality Ohio?
We did.
We need a picture because we wore the Equality Ohio colors.
We did.
Isn't that funny?
And we made a picture together.
We do.
Let's do it. And actually, my husband and son are trying to run out the door, so we're going to get a picture with them. Then we do you all.